We got the NBA Finals today.
I'm super excited for this.
I am pumped up for this, too. You know, it's just the one tweet I had to see.
What's that?
Yesterday, Chris Palmer tweeting about the Nuggets possibly winning the weakest championship in NBA history. And it's just kind of comical.
Well, I was going to go in a completely different direction because I brought this up with Spadoni, and I'd love your opinions on it. As a sports fan, I look at both teams, and I find them to be very captivating in terms of how they were assembled. Let's start with the Denver Nuggets. This feels like the template for most, like, pick NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, homegrown talent, some in the first round, some late finds like Jokic that you've nurtured yourself. You stayed the course. You had some heartbreaks. You had some injuries. You didn't break it up. You stayed with the head coach. You added and tinkered and brought in some good, valuable free agents on good deals, KCP and Brown and guys like that. You traded for Gordon, and, like, you just stayed the course. And boom, here you are. Like, this is what you root for as a sports fan.
It's like the Warriors 2014-15. This is how the Warriors... I know they added Kevin Durant. They got rid of Mark Jackson. You signed Steve Kerr. But for the most part, your nucleus was drafted.
Yep.
Homegrown talent. And you were able to nurture them. Hell, Looney's a homegrown talent. He's got 3 championships. So I think the Denver Nuggets, Jokic is a 2-time MVP who is a second-round pick.
Could this ring...
second-round pick.
I don't want to get too ahead of myself.
It's what LeBron and AD... Like,
But doesn't this ring put him in, and I'm not saying he's above them, but puts him in that Olajuwon, David Robinson conversation?
It does.
I'm not saying he's above them. I'm just saying,
it does.
When you win 2 MVPs, and then at this age, you win a championship?
Honestly, I believe it puts him above David Robinson. A championship.
David
Robinson won his ring at the tail end of his career when he was basically off his prime. That team was led by Tim Duncan. He wasn't the lead dog.
I'm with you.
Jokic can win this championship. And with his age and the position that Denver's in, they could go on a fascinating run here. Then you got the Miami Heat, who develop. They make shrewd moves. They bring in Jimmy Butler. By the way, Philadelphia letting Jimmy Butler go and pick a Ben Simmons over him, basically, and Tobias Harris looks bad. Miami's a fascinating case, and they're not your normal playing team. They're not your normal number 8 seed. And by the way, if they are an 8 seed and people are, hopping onto that, saying, the Denver Nuggets are playing the playing team. They just beat Milwaukee in 5. And you could say Milwaukee didn't have Giannis for most of the series. That's fair. The Heat had to adjust without Tyler Hero, who was lighting up the Bucks in Game 1. And then you beat the Celtics in 7 games after blowing a 3-0 lead. That's pretty impressive.
And they had 2 guys that were in the doghouse with the fans and the organization, and Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry, and they're contributing in the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, these are 2 guys, you talk to the fan base was calling them cowards because they wouldn't either suit up because they're out of shape or they wouldn't shoot.
Yep. No, bam. Great question. Comcast Business Text Line. Does this put Jokic above Charles Barkley? In many eyes, it does. Wow. Now, Barkley's a great player. He's a top 20. Yeah, it's tough. But Jokic is entering that territory.
He is.
He's having an all-time playoff run. All-time. He carved up Anthony Davis and the Lakers. Carved AD up to the point where AD's like, I can't guard him one-on-one. Let me sag off, put Rui Hachimura on him.
Not to be disparaging to Dwight Howard in any way, but I look at Dwight Howard's game. It was so physical, right? It was all like physical. Not that he didn't have skill, but it felt more, if we were tilting the scales, like in terms of skills, savant style to physical, he was more in the physical angle. Jokic, although he can play physical, is just a savant.
He's everything.
I mean, his hands, his passing, his IQ, his ability to obviously just see the floor open up, his ability to hit shots, his touch, like everything about him, man. I love watching Jokic play.
If he wants to play physical, he'll go down low and bang with you. If he wants to go finesse and go shoot the mid-range, he'll do that. He'll hoist up a 3 or 2.
Facilitate.
His IQ, demanding double teams. His IQ, and he demands the ball in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And he's touching it every single possession. And he's daring you to stop him. He's a problem. Jamal Murray coming back from an ACL. I saw him tear his ACL. That was one of the few games we covered that year at Chase Center. Mike Malone kept his guys in the game for whatever reason, trying to chase a win. Kept calling timeouts, and he tears his ACL. We're like, wow. Jamal Murray's gone just like that.
After such an incredible bubble run.
And he comes back, and he looks like Jamal Murray from
he looks incredible.
He looks incredible.
Michael Porter Jr., I watched Michael Porter Jr. throw up shots before games last year in the playoffs. He had the back injury, and I'm like, I don't know about him, man. I'm not really sure. And he's come around. Aaron Gordon, a lot of questions on is it going to fit? Can he adjust to being the defensive guy? He's done all those things.
And the fact that you got the coaching matchup with Mike Malone and Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra, longtime Miami Heat coach, one of the best in the business, if not the best, adjusting to his personnel. Not just running one style, adjusting to the team and the personnel that he has. And Mike Malone, who got jettisoned from Sacramento for all the wrong reasons, an assistant with the Golden State Warriors. He was an assistant with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Mike Malone has done a phenomenal job. To give Denver credit for sticking with Mike Malone as the head coach. Mike Malone, I like him, man. He calls it like it is. He calls teams out. Hey, the fact that he said, we go up 1-0, and all everybody wants to talk about how the Lakers are in a good spot because Rui Hachimura guarded Nikola Jokic for 6 possessions. We'll see how that works out. Mike Malone does not hold back anything, and I like him, man. So good for him. I think it's going to be a fun finals.
Did you hear the Dan Patrick sound that Joe Spinoni was playing earlier this morning?
No, I did not.
Joe, do you have that sound available? I'd love to pull it up. It's basically insinuating that the Michael Malone in particular and some of their other players have felt like they haven't been getting the respect. And I'm like... And he's like mad. Listen to Dan Patrick explain it, and I couldn't disagree more.
If you want to talk about lack of respect, it would be the Miami Heat. It felt like every game they were 8-point underdogs against the Boston Celtics, and they'll be big underdogs here against the Denver Nuggets. They don't care. I haven't heard the "oh, woe is me" Miami Heat. Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler. Like Jimmy Butler said, hey, what's the motivation? Well, we can and we will win this series. That was it. There's nothing else that's been headline worthy here. But they don't come out and do a pity party. Oh, woe is me. You don't take us serious. Whatever it might be. And Denver should adopt the same thing.
I guess. But Denver's been disrespected. Everybody picked them against them. The Phoenix Suns. I picked the Suns in 6. And they tore apart Kevin Durant. They had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker down 30 at the half in Game 6.
Maybe the worst game I've ever seen Kevin Durant play.
But Denver had a lot to do with that.
No doubt.
Defending, being physical, carving them up offensively. They did what they had to do to get to the Western Conference Finals.
Jamal Murray was unstoppable in that Game 6.
Well, Denver's also never been here before. That's part of it. Like, they don't they don't know how to act. Like, they need to act like it. Well, the Heat as an organization have been there and done that multiple times in this century. The Nuggets, it's their first time. Yeah. And you know what? This is a young, exciting team. Good for Michael Malone believing in his guys when no one else will.
And how many of us thought, oh, boy, if the Warriors and the Lakers drop to the 8th spot, they feel really good against the Denver Nuggets.
Everyone said.
Everybody said that. I know I did. I didn't think Denver was making it to this point. And you look at the way they play, oh my gosh, it's up-tempo. If they need to slow it down, they'll slow it down. They really just execute offensively very well. And defensively, they do enough. And how about showing some love to Aaron Gordon? How about showing love to San Jose's own?
Is he going to guard Jimmy Butler?
Oh, yeah. He talked about it all day at the presser. He goes, I'm going to give it a crack.
Yeah.
He's physical. We already know about his athleticism.
Absolutely.
I mean, we covered him at Archbishop Mitty. Saw him play in the pro-am against grown-ass men banging down in the paint. It's been fascinating to watch his career grow. And you know what? He's all the way bought into his role.
Yeah.
Then they get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Everybody just kind of gives up on him.
KCP.
He's really good.
I like KCP.
He's really good. And then you got Bruce Brown kind of coming out of nowhere playing really well. And he told Denver, look, if you're interested in me, I don't want to be a small big. Basically, that's what GP2 is, right? It's like, I don't want to be that. I want to be a guard. Mike Malone and Denver Nuggets, they empower him to be a guard. And look at how many times he's come up clutch in his playoff run.
Don't you think chemistry matters when I look at the two teams that are sitting here at the end? Yep. I think we spend so much time talking about talent. The more and more I think about it, like I feel like the NBA, at least the way the game is being played right now, chemistry, fit, those things almost override. Yes, you got to have talent. No one's denying that. That's a baseline. It's a prerequisite. Yep. But the thing that you can't quantify is talent. Does it fit together? Talent, do they get along? Do they want to play on both ends of the floor together with each other? Will they accept their roles? And I look at both of these organizations, and I feel like they're models for chemistry and fit.
Yep, no doubt. And see, here's 5-1-0. And this is what's disappointing about some NBA writers. And in the NFL, they don't do this. They don't put water on their league, or they don't dilute their league and their competition by saying, you know what, this is the weakest Super Bowl ever. Oh my God, this is the weakest competition ever. You see NFL writers empower their sport. They prop up their sport all the time. NBA writers, like a guy like Chris Palmer, is just talking like just disrespecting Jokic. Like NBA writers who cover this league on a daily basis. That's the problem with the ratings. That's the problem with the marketing. We talk about it with baseball all the time. Empower your players. Prop up your sport. Talk about your sport. You got a lot of fascinating, great players in this league.
Yes.
In the NBA. I really enjoyed this playoff run. And the Denver Nuggets have been a great, great story. Grinding, losing to the Blazers in the second round. Grinding in the bubble, losing to the Western Conference Finals to the LA Lakers. Last year, having some setbacks and still playing hard just to get to the playoffs. And then tinkering their roster, retooling them around Nikola Jokic, winning his MVPs. I mean, this is something we need to embrace as NBA writers. I'm a little disappointed with the media. Not all media, but just certain media who's online trying to get clicks. Just poo-pooing all over the Nuggets run.
So what? We're now grading the road to championships.
It's unbelievable.
Well, like I look at like the Philadelphia Eagles last year. They beat the New York Giants, who were whatever, right? I'm talking about to get to the Super Bowl. And they beat the Niners, and they didn't have their starting quarterback. But did it matter?
Nope.
No, because they were a dominant team all regular season.
Denver was
I look
too,
at the
right?
Nuggets very similarly. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs went through a gauntlet, right? Steelers, whatever. Bills and Bengals. Everybody agrees, wow, that's a gauntlet. The championship's still the same. Whether they face the Jaguars, whether they face the Steelers, it does not matter. And I don't look at Philadelphia any other way.
No.
They lost by a touchdown or whatever, a couple of points.
Field goal.
Yeah, field goal. There you go. In the Super Bowl, irrelevant. They were a dominant team all regular season. I'm sorry. I think the body of work overrides whatever their path was to the championship.
Now, here it is. They are a good team, but completely untested. So a lot of people pick the LA Lakers to get past the Denver Nuggets. LeBron James was having an all-time series. Anthony Davis was coming off the best series of his career against the Golden State Warriors. They looked deep. They looked scary. They had the best half-court defense in the NBA since they made that blockbuster move for D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. And the Denver Nuggets completely took them apart. So how can you say they're untested? They went through the team that a lot of people thought was going to the NBA Finals. So I'm going to give the Nuggets their flowers, man. I'm really jacked up for these NBA Finals.
And Bonte, I just think they're a kind of team, like, again, whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, football, they're a team that, as a fan, I look at the way that they've built what they've built, and that's the model. That's what I'm looking for. Homegrown talent found in a variety of ways. You stuck with the coach through thick and thin. You came out on the other side. You added to things. You made a bold trade to go get Aaron Gordon, which some people didn't think was going to work, right? Guys accepted their roles. You had some setbacks with injuries. Those guys came back. Like, they could have punted in a variety of ways, and they held firm. They had their two-time champion, two-time MVP, and obviously he was getting criticized, not to the degree of some of the other guys, but I don't know, man. I look at them. To me, they're the template that I like.
Well, Chris Palmer also had to tweet this. Joker is the only two-time MVP in 76 years to never win a ring, never win Finals MVP, never win All-Star MVP, to never beat at least two higher seeds in the playoffs. Streets are watching. And I'm like, what is he talking about?
Since when did we start, I like All-Star MVPs? I guess it's something at the end of your career, but why does that matter?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, why the Finals MVP thing? Like, I get it. We did it with Michael Jordan and all that. Like, if I were to tell you in 1981, do you know who the Finals MVP was?
Nah, it was Larry Bird. No, it wasn't Larry Bird. Was it Larry Bird? I think it was Larry Bird.
I mean, but
who cares? Andre Iguodala won the MVP in the finals, and it was like, oh, wait, he slowed down LeBron James. LeBron still averaged like 33, 15 of 8.
But was that part of, I don't remember Finals MVP being a Magic and Bird conversation.
It became a thing on Twitter over the last
After Jordan.
10 years. Or to dilute Steph Curry. It'd be like, Steph Curry doesn't have Finals MVP. He's never been
How many does Kobe have? I don't even know.
He's got 2.
He's got 2? Of his 5 rings?
Yep.
So are we taking away 3?
Nope.
Like, come on.